What is going on? Welcome back to Trading Learning 101. We are going to go over some of the best looking charts of August. Just give it a couple moments, see if anybody wants to join. Hope everyone's having a good Saturday, good Labor Day weekend. Going to have a nice long weekend to relax, rest, study, prepare. Starting a new month, September, so that slow month of August is finally behind us. Friday was looking pretty good in the market. We're actually seeing signs of direction for stocks to go in a direction, and GERN was a good one that's been just going crazy. It's a bigger float, but IGC, a lot of good plays last week. AITI or something. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I upload videos pretty much every other day. I'll do market recaps. I'll even live stream the market, go over the market, what I'm thinking every day, or at least try to. So what this video is going to be is every month I'm going to go over some of the best stock picks that I took throughout the whole month. So this is going to be all the stocks that of August that I've thought looked good, and I took a screenshot of them to save them and go over them. And I think it's a good practice to have if you're just beginning as a trader, or if you're in the market every single day. Take screenshots and pictures of these stock charts and on multiple time frames, and then over the weekend go over them, the ones that interest you the most, and you take pictures of all these charts and you start looking over them over the weekend, and you could start to see if there's a pattern that's reoccurring in the market over and over and over again. As I was going through these pictures before I started this live stream, I noticed there was a lot of up wedges in these charts and a lot of higher low patterns. We really weren't seeing a lot of breakouts in August, as it was at the beginning of August. It was earnings season for a lot of these large cap stocks, and it's just there was no volume in the market, and the overall market was pulling back for a second. And then towards the end of August, that's when the S&P, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, just the overall market started making new highs, and the economy's booming right now. And like the last week of August went out with a bang, in my opinion, and set us up for September. September, October, November are the hottest months for the stock market, and a lot of crazy stuff is about to happen every single year. The past couple of years, the shipping sectors have just went completely nuts. DCIX, dries, tops. It seems like every single year those like to take off in October, November. Who knows if they do it again this year? We'll see. But without further ado, let's just get into this. We're going to go over the pictures that I took of all of August of the stocks that interest me the most. And let's just run through them, talk about them, and take a look back at what the market had to offer to us in August. So starting off with the first one here, we had ABIL. And ABIL is a low float. Every time a low float stock just goes supernova parabolic, you got to keep an eye on it, because traders remember stocks that move really big. like recently, MTSL, AWX, how AWX went from like $6 up to $36 in a couple days. And that Friday, it had a huge short squeeze up to over 20, it was almost $20, I believe. Traders remember moves like those. So if those pop up again in the future, a lot of traders, like I said, are going to remember those, and they're going to be watching it. So you always have to keep those on your back burner. All this month I had GEVO on my back burner, MTSL, AWX, ABIL always pops up. And then they'll continue to pop up, and then once they fail to break out, like a good example is CHFS. At one point, CHFS was a really, really good stock. It would explode and spike huge, and it got traders' attention. But then after a while, it kept popping up, and then it started to fail to break out, and it started to burn a lot of traders. You just could clearly see it just slowly die off. It would pop up pre-market, but then as soon as the market opened, it would just die off all day. So this is ABIL right here. This is a low float, currently one of the past charts that spiked in the past. If a stock with a low float spiked in the past, it will spike again. ABIL loves to spike when there's nothing really going on in the market, like August, when we had all those large cap stocks have an earnings season. You're going to see a lot of low float pumps because there's nothing going on in the market. You have your degenerates that need to trade every single day, so they're going to pump up a low float stock, and you got to be careful with those. They can be very profitable, but then you could also be on the bad side of it if you catch yourself chasing. You never want to catch yourself chasing a low float stock ever. Never, ever, ever, because you can get burnt. I've been burnt when I first started off as a trader. I would chase these low float pump and dumps, chase it, buying it at the top for having it crash down on me 50 cents, 75 cents, $1. And it's not a good feeling. That's why I normally like to try to stick to stuff, stick to patterns that I know, stick to stocks that have a catalyst, and a stock that has volume. Volume is very, very important. And having a stock with catalysts helps a lot too, because if you're playing a low float pump, you always got to have that fear in the back of your mind. Is the SEC going to halt this? CALI, C-A-L-I, went from, it was like $1.25, and it spiked to $5, and then it came crashing down. Later on, after the market closed, the next day before the market opened, the SEC put a halt on it, and then they put a T12 halt on it, and it was halted for 2 weeks. And I believe it got delisted from the NASDAQ. Now it's on the OTCs or something. So that's part of the risk of playing these low float pump and dumps. You never know if the SEC is just going to abruptly halt it, you know, and that's why I try to stick to catalysts that only save my butt, you know, and you always got to protect yourself in the market. If any of you guys have questions, feel free to comment. Any questions that you have, anything you'd I guess I could bring it up. Anything you'd want me to go over, but this video is just going to be going over charts, and I'm going to get into it here. So this is ABIL here, ABIL. Some of these charts you will see my order entries on these. Looks like I took a trade on this when it went from 525 to 7. Another ABIL. I love looking for patterns that I know and just sticking to it. You'll see many, many traders say, find your niche and stick with it. My niche is waiting for the market to open at least 15 minutes, waiting for a pattern to set itself up that I'm familiar with, and capitalizing on that stock when it breaks out. I love playing U-shapes. I love playing wedges, higher lows, the ABC pattern. And it's just really, really predictable if you just stick to what you know. If you stick to what you know and master it, you can be profitable and successful in the market. You really can. And you can start to see consistency if you're really, really disciplined and have that patience. Patience is very, very, very key. Very key. I remember when I first started, I felt like I needed to trade every single day. I got to make money every day. I got to make money Monday. I got to make money Tuesday. I got to make money Wednesday. I got to make money Thursday. I got to make money Friday. It's not about that. Once you start off and you familiarize yourself with the market, the overall goal is growing your portfolio and being consistent. That's everybody's goal. So, taking a step back, when I said I wanted to make money every single day, it took me a long time to realize this, but the goal is for me to be profitable and in the green every week. But then, if nothing pops up, don't force a trade. Tomorrow is a new day. I've seen the market slow, very, very slow. Nothing's going on Monday. And I'm looking and looking and looking for a trade, and I don't see something, and I want to force something. And when I do force a trade, I end up taking a loss. And if you're under the PDT rule, you're limited on your trades. So why not conserve and save those trades and wait for an opportunity to present itself? That way you can just capitalize it 100%. Let me try moving my... I just want to be able so you guys can see the charts. I'll just make myself look really, really small, I guess. Or put, you know what? I'll put myself down here. How's that? Quality alright for you guys? Enter a comment or say, yeah, the quality's good. But then also in August, to go off topic, I was with TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim. I was with TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim for over a year. So I wanted to branch off and see what else is out there. So then, just to do it, because I was talking about it for so long and I kept procrastinating it, putting it on the back burner, I just one day withdrew all my funds from Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade, and then that's when I was like stuck. I didn't know I was going to go at TradeStation. They didn't work out, and then I just went with E-Trade, and I didn't like E-Trade, so now I'm with Charles Schwab and their trading platform, the Street Smart Edge, and it took a week and a half to transition from broker to broker to broker to broker. But last week was my first week with the Street Smart Edge and Charles Schwab. So far, I like them. They're not really, I would say they're not really strong with the penny stocks or stocks below $5 or $10. They're more geared towards higher price stocks. And I quickly learned with them that if you want to day trade, and especially if you want to day trade with an account under $25,000, it's pretty much going to be like a cash account. They will give you margin, but you can't trade Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You could trade one day with what you have in your account, and then you gotta wait a day for your funds to settle, and then you could trade again. They don't keep giving you more buying power with their margin like TD Ameritrade does, which is I thought was pretty weird. But looks like we got AFMD here. This is a high float but had great news with a lot of key words. Cancer, collaboration, 5 billion deal possible, 5 billion deal possible. Gapped up huge. Thought price would have been priced in with the news in the start of the day. I was wrong. It went from $4 to $5.80 that day. So pre-market, when I'm looking at the scanners for stocks that are gapping up, reading press releases on news, what I want to look for in news releases are keywords. And I stick to these keywords, and I've learned this from Sean Deckmar. So when you're looking at news releases and new presses pre-market to find stocks to trade or keep an eye on and put on your watch list, there are keywords you want to look for in these press releases that get people's attention. Now this is where the psychology comes into the market. So when you're going through these press releases, keywords that you want to keep an eye out for are cancer, FDA approval, a company receiving, receive is a keyword, big sums of money, contracts, deals, stuff like that, earnings. You know, you just want to keep an eye out for those keywords to get other traders' attention at that ticker. Now, the more you have, the better. Cancer, even a celebrity. Last year, there was a stock that had Kim Kardashian as a possible investor. That stock that day went from $2 up to $15. I can't remember the ticker, but I do remember that. And then also Oprah Winfrey. Everybody knows Oprah Winfrey. Back when she was promoting Weight Watchers, I think. And Weight Watchers went from $2 to $30. Keeping an eye out for keywords and press releases is key. And also if they put keywords in headers before you click on to open up the actual press release, the better. And like I said, keywords: cancer, a company receiving large sums of money, contracts, FDA approvals, even though I don't really like playing FDA and pharmaceuticals, because those stocks are a world of their own. They can have great news and fail. They could have bad news and spike. And I've seen them halted a lot. So I thought this was an interesting one. This was literally last week. Price goes from around $1.50, gaps up and opens at $4. And you got to put that into consideration too. If a stock comes out with news and it gaps up really huge like this, you got to take a step back and think, okay, this has great news. It's gapped up $3, $3.50. Is the price worked in with the news? If you get what I'm trying to say. And if it is, the stock's not going to go anywhere. It's either going to be stuck in a range, or it's just going to downtrend all day from everybody just taking profits from all the long-term holders. And this is AMFD again, a little bit more zoomed in. I hope you guys can see it somewhat. But this was on, I think it was like Tuesday. I had my eyes on this pre-market, but then as soon as the market opened, it's like I completely forgot about this, and I had my attention focused on AITI and IGC and CRON. Yep, and here's ATAI right here. ATAI. This is something I played. Just a beautiful morning spike right here, going from 90 cents up to This went up to $2, so $1.10. Look at that spike. And then it pulls back down to the VWAP in the 150 area. Started just bouncing, gradually bouncing off this $1.50 going sideways. And these are the lunch hours right here. You'll see, this is why I say it's important and it's good to take pictures of these charts. The more charts you look at, you'll start to see the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And this is where the predictability comes in. That's why you see a lot of traders say the hottest time to trade is from 9:30 to 11, and then pretty much the last hour of the day. But I think the last 2 hours of the day is when it starts picking up and getting hot. And you clearly see that here. We got a morning spike, lunch hours, it goes sideways, and then power hour comes, the last part of the day, and we get this next leg up right here. And I only took a little piece of the high right here. I let this spike, I kept an eye on it, and it consolidated, and as soon as it started to perk up right here, breaking out of this resistance area, I should have known a little better because this started spiking up just before 1 o'clock. And when it broke above right here, I wanted it to pull back down, and it pulled back, and it bounced right here off of old resistance, as you can see. Let me see if I can zoom in. So you see how it, oh my goodness. So you see how it broke out of this resistance. Where am I at right now? So it broke out of this resistance and came up, and when it pulled back down, you can see right here it bounced off of the old resistance. And when old resistance holds as support, you know there's potential in this. And then that's when you really start to take notice and keep an eye on. And then it just looked like it started to die out, but what it's doing is it's accumulating. It's accumulating buying. And then it just started to explode and take off, going from $1.80, literally going to almost $3 a share. This was a great day for this, and even the next day after that, this day was just great. It was a continuation. And when a stock has a good green day like this, I'll keep an eye on it the next day for a continuation, or I'll look for a mid-candle breakout on this. So if the first day is a green day on this, the second day I will look for it to have a pullback day, a red day, and then the third day, it's kind of like a slingshot or a bounce. Green day, red day, green day. So first day green, second day red, it's pulling back, and then the third day it's going to bounce, is what I'm looking for, or it'll continue. And then this is ATAI again. I think this is the second day. Yep. So the second day, this goes from $1.75 up to a high of $3.30. I loved playing this Monday and Tuesday. Again, on Tuesday, you get a morning spike right here from $1.75 up to $2.68. It pulls back, and then it slowly started just getting really tight right here, bouncing off of support right here, making lower highs, and then going up. A great potential buy right here as it's coming down, and it's testing the support 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then going up, pulling back, and then continuing. I know having patience is hard with these. Also want to keep an eye on the volume as well. I love just keeping an eye on price action and volume. There's a great book out there for volume analysis. It's called Volume Price Analysis by Anna Culling. I highly recommend that book for anybody interested in learning more about volume. This is BLIN. So BLIN, the 200 moving average is at $1.80. At beginning of day, it tested $1.50 9 times and showed weakness. Already up 50 cents, it would be a risk of 50 cents for 25-30 cents. No thank you. Plus a lot of stocks this day was getting stuffed, making new highs and a lot of red in the market. And futures was red pre-market. So this was literally just Friday. Look at this. See all these long wicks right here? That's showing weakness. Even though this did go up, this is showing weakness, that the price is getting rejected at this $1.50 level. Even though it was starting to grind up and make higher lows, going up with the VWAP right here, and it did break out, this was looking very tempting Friday. And I couldn't do it. Even though this did go up, I was thankful that I didn't get in on this as well too, even though it did go up, because I don't want to start bad habits. If I clearly see something like this, the overall market, as you can see right here, is red. And there were other stocks as well that were on my watch list that I was keeping an eye on. They were all dropping, failing to break out, getting stuffed. And you got to remember, 3 out of 4 stocks follow the overall market. Now, this is the one of the 4 that just went up. But I didn't want to get in on this and break and get into I didn't want to break my discipline, as I'd say. I don't want to break my rules and get in on something and buy it. Now, if I go back and read here, the 200-day moving average is at $1.80. The price is at $1.50 right here. So even if I was to get in on this, I'm looking for it. I'm looking for a price area to go up of 30 cents. Now, if I look at how much this is up already, this is up from $1 to $1.50. So it's up 50 cents already. And if I'm looking in to get in on this, I'm looking for it to go up 30 cents. The risk outweighs the reward on this. And this is when developing a plan comes into play. You have to put all of this into perspective when you're thinking about getting into a trade. I'm seeing the overall market's down. A lot of stocks on my watch list are getting stuffed. That's why you just don't pay attention to one particular stock. I'm looking at 2-3 other stocks as well to see how they're performing. I'm seeing the overall market's down. Majority of the stocks on my watch list aren't looking good. They're getting stuffed. They're dropping hard, making new lows. And then you got this one. It spikes up and then it started consolidating, but you have all of these long wicks right here and it's showing price rejection. So I just didn't want no part in it. So I just took my hand off the mouse and leaned back and let it do its thing. And this was a very, very, very slow grind up. So this, even if I was to play this, it would have been like pulling teeth wanting to get out of it, because it slowly but surely just went up and up and up, and then it pulled back and then slowly inched its way up. It's just too much. And this is a low float stock too. The float on this is only 7 million, 5 million, and it's grinding its way up. It just doesn't make sense. And Even the buying volume here, as you can see, there's no like pattern on it. I don't really see consistency going up. When I want a strong stock, I want to see consistent buying. So like this was the start of something right here. You got a green bar, then you got a taller green bar. After this one, I'd want an even taller green bar. And then this is BLNK. This is from the beginning of August. Going from 340 up to 476. And if you look right here at the beginning of the day, it just goes to show you can miss the morning spike and don't feel like you missed the move. There could possibly be opportunity around the corner. You just have to keep an eye on these. I can't zoom in on this really, but you could see it spiked up and then it pulled back, and then look, that's a perfect U shape. Comes down to 360, and look, it bounced right at support where the pre-market highs were. So old resistance is now holding at support. U shapes on up, breaks the high, and it was real fast, and it crashed back down, back up, and then it just slowly started to grind its way up from there, going from 380 up to 476. BLNK again. This is the same chart, but more, this is as the day went on. Now, I've been noticing a lot of people ask what this orange line is on my charts. It's the VWAP, the volume weighted price, the volume weighted average price. Now, I have this on my charts because a lot of other traders use the VWAP, and I want to see what other traders are looking at. And a lot of times you'll see these stocks bounce right off of VWAP. And look, you got a good example right here, bouncing at 430 and bouncing up to 450. That's why I love looking at these charts and taking pictures of them. There's just so much opportunity and so many areas to where you could have played this and took profit. It's just all about how you look at a chart. That's what it is. How you look at a chart, having patience, knowing a pattern, sticking with your plan, and developing a plan. Normally at the end of the day though too, like within the last hour, you'll just see compulsive buying and you'll see big rips like this. 430 up to almost 490, a 60-cent spike right there, and it only took 3 minutes. Waiting for opportunity like this. That's why the first 15 minutes of the day, the stock can spike all at once. I'm not going to touch it. I want it to spike, then I want it to pull back, and I want it to prove to me that it has strength. It can spike all at once, and then I wait for that pullback, and I wait for consolidation. And then once it starts to prove to me that it wants to start forming higher lows and buyings and volumes still in it, and the times and sales is running pretty well, then I start to get the confidence up and I start to pay attention more and seeing what it's trying to do, looking at it in multiple time frames, the 1 minute, the 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, the hourly. Just looking at multiple time frames, aligning everything together, looking at the daily chart, seeing if there's any upward resistance, going over all of that. And you got to. And then this is iPass. We had just a real quick pump up, and then it just slowly died off the rest of the day. And it looks like I said, patterns don't always work. Using the VWAP as resistance, making higher lows, volume slowly going away. So we got a quick spike here from $2, and this spikes up to $3.10. And this is an ugly chart, very ugly. Look at that. You got like a white candle here that spikes up, pulls back aggressively, then shoots up, and then this is probably where it got halted with all those dotted lines there. Hits a high of 310 and then drops down to 250. And this is why you don't chase. You don't want to chase these stocks. You know, imagine buying in at $3.10 right there. Let me do something real quick. There we go. So, and just to go and show that patterns don't always work, you can see an up wedge here. Right here, making higher lows, coming up to the resistance line. The VWAP is acting as resistance. It's slowly grinding up and looking like it's gonna break out. And this is why I like to wait and watch. Wait and watch for it to break out. Because this just failed. And volume just slowly left it the rest of the day. CHKE going from 50 cents to a high of $1. Now, I love playing these stocks that are approaching $1 because they can really, really get momentum. They really can. So, CHKE, I don't know if it had any news. Then there's a little strategy behind this. And this is a strategy that Sean Deckmar likes to use. So if you have a stock that's under 20 million in float, it's been under $1 for the past 6 months, you're looking for the dollar breakout. Clearly this didn't break $1, but with the low float approaching $1, it's got volume. It hasn't seen $1 in over 6 months, or it's probably never seen $1. That $1 breakout could possibly be explosive. Breaking out from $1 going to $1.25, $1.50, $1.75, $2. It really, really could get momentum and volume. And $1 breakout, the $1 is the strongest resistance line you will see. And this is a good example of it right here. You got a stock coming up from a 50 cents. $0.50 comes all the way up to $1, bounces right off the dollar and comes right back down. And you can tell it had weakness right here with this long wick. You can see these full bodies right here. Pulls back, comes back up in this long wick. That's telling me rejection. The price is getting rejected hard at this level. There is hard selling going on. And then it comes back up, drops down, makes a higher or lower low, comes back up again, and what do you got right there? You got another long wick. And then look what happened. this failed the rest of the day. Being here for the market every single day to watch these things. That way when they pop up again in the future, you're prepared. You're more prepared than the first time you've seen it. Be like, all right, I've seen this before. And then it really is crazy. And if you follow Timothy Sykes, he's telling you the truth. He considers himself a glorified history buff because history repeats itself over and over and over. And if you're here to see the market every day, or at least look at charts as much as you can, you will start to see stuff occurring over and over and over again. This is CHKE again, but just a different time frame. Not a different time frame, just a better picture. And then we got CVSI. This is the day it went from $9.20 and just dumped all the way down to $3.40. That's a crazy, crazy chart right there. This is one of the charts that you see. And you know what? I got a great example. This is going to be a bonus. For whoever's watching this and sticking around, this next picture I'm about to show you is a bonus. 1 second. Let me try to find it. So, let me go through here real quick. Don't that look the same? You got your big drop off right here. You got your big drop off right here. You got your bounce up. Your bounce up. Then you got another crack. Your other crack. You got a little bounce there. A little bounce there. And then it cracks big again. Cracks big again. And then it slowly starts to grind up. I mean, from here back, this is where it looks the same. Does it not? Pretty crazy, huh? And that's a great example. Even this one, look at this. You got a spike up, then this huge drop, bounce up, and then a crack down. That's a big crack down. But you see how familiar these are? I'm telling you, that's a perfect example for you. A perfect example. If you take pictures of these and look at charts, take notice, you will start to see things develop over and over again. And if you start to catch something before it's setting up and it's starting to look like something, that's where the predictability can come in. This is CVSI again, but on different time frames. You got your 5-minute right here, your 15-minute, your daily chart of the previous month, I believe, or 2 months, and then you got the daily of the year. And look at this on the 5-minute and the 15-minute. Crazy. My throat's starting to get sore from talking so much. CVSI was insane. That was a crazy stock. Very crazy. Then we got EKSO. EKSO has a history of doing moves. Traders remember EKSO. And then again, this is where it comes into, you want to be there every day for the market. You'll start to remember these tickers. I know EKSO from popping up multiple times in the past. And what they do is they make these eco-skeleton like suit things to protect people. Like the military uses them. EKSO recently just came out with something with Fords to protect their workers. You'll start to remember these tickers and remember what they do. And then if something relevant happens in the world or a disaster happens in the world, you'll start to think, and you'll think of the stocks that are related to that disaster or something that's happening in the world, and you'll start to see them move up. And this is GERN. GERN's float is like 160 million. But this just goes to show you, sometimes it doesn't matter what the float is. If a stock gets momentum, it can make moves. Okay? Now repeat that. If a stock has a huge float, like GERN, 150 million float. Normally, with a high float like that, you're looking at a stock on a normal day to move maybe a couple pennies up, a couple pennies down. If a stock with a huge float or a high float gets momentum, it can make moves, especially if the sector heats up. Momentum is like a freight train. Once it starts going, you can't stop it. And again, this is GERN, going from 445 to 581, all within the first half hour right here. 445 to 581. It spiked $1.40 for 150 million float. That's a big move. Big move. It just goes to show you, like a freight train, once the freight train starts getting and going, you can't stop it. But don't think this is going to happen all the time. It doesn't. And when something like this happens, you got to take note. If this high float went on a big move like this, is the market trying to tell you something? That other higher float, low-priced stocks are going to follow? And I think I took notice of that this recent past week. AITI is a higher flow at 28 million. That was hot all week. What was the other one? IGC. I think IGC's flow was like 58 million. That was on fire all week, and they were making great moves. You've got to take notice of things like that in the market. That's why they say the market's always changing, and you got to try to catch what the market is currently doing, what's currently going on in the market. In the past couple weeks, the pot sector has heated up. I haven't really put much attention on the pot sector. You know, and that's the great thing about being a trader. You can focus on whatever you want to focus on. You don't have to focus on what everybody else is talking about. I took notice that higher float stocks were making moves. So I started setting my scanners to a higher float, kept it at a low price, And after GERN started heating up, AITI started heating up. What was the other one? GCI, CGI, I think it's, or IGC started heating up. And that just goes to show you the market works in weird ways. And that's why you have to keep an eye out for when the market makes moves like this. This is GERN again on the daily chart. And you see the past few days right here. Look at this price range for this little higher float stock. You could see the previous history. It does like to move. And the history is going to tell you the personality of a stock. When I look at a daily chart of a stock, if it's a flatliner with no big green candles, I'm not interested. Because traders are gonna look at it and say, "Oh, that's a crap chart," and it's not gonna get any attention. If a chart like this on the daily has good moves up, big green bars, a lot of buying volume, it's above moving averages, it's gonna get traders' attention, and that's what you always want to be looking for. What's gonna get traders' attention? And the more charts you look at, the easier it gets, and you'll be able to pick up and see, oh yeah, this is a great chart. This is a good chart. Simply putting a trend line on this at the high, coming down, touch this high, came back down, touch this high, come back down, all by putting a trend line on this. And then it broke out of this trend line. It pulled back. Look at it. It bounced right off that trend line, and it bounced off the 50-day moving average here. Slowly but surely started to just grind up, and then you got an explosion up. This is GERN again on the daily chart, or the intraday chart. $4.90 up to $5.80. That's just a beautiful sight. Stock collapsed right here, but look, it comes down and it kisses the VWAP, and then it never looked back, and it just kept grinding back up. And then this is GERN, the intraday, but zoomed out of the previous 5 days. You could see right here we had a good strong day after this big morning panic sell-off. It started to grind back up and rebound. The next day is continuation. This was a very, very powerful good day right here. And even when it comes up to this old, you could see it was struggling right here for a moment at this resistance. And if you just simply go back and look at the previous day, right here, you could see this area is acting as resistance because this is where the previous day opened, and this is where it failed to break out and it panicked, sold down. This is simple technical analysis that a lot of people overlook. And then it pulled back and broke through that, and look at that surge up. That surge up and buying right there. And then everybody dumped it, comes down, kisses the VWAP, and moves its way back on up. And then the next couple days, it was stuck in this range from 530 to 560. And you could see that right here. Resistance there at 560, resistance there, comes back down. I mean, yeah, you got a little low there at 520, but for the most part, it's stuck right here. I'd say 525 to 560. And then Friday, again, right there with this, you could see it kind of struggled to break out right here because you got resistance here, 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 and here. And then it pulls back and comes back up, and look, once it finally broke that, it surged up in price. That's just beautiful. Like, once you piece it together and see what's going on, you can do this too. I know you can, because I did it. And you simply develop looking at charts like this and start to see what's going on the more charts you look at. You see the same thing repeat itself over and over and over again. HYRE. I took a picture of this one because of the long wicks right here. Now going back to the first chart that I looked at, BLNK, remember the morning long wicks and that showed weakness I said? Look at it. It's a clear example right here. These long wicks are telling me the price is being rejected at this area. The price is being rejected hard at the $4 area. It pops up and it's selling hard, very hard. And you can see the pattern here in the selling. You got these long wicks showing me that the price is being rejected, and then look what happened. The price fell down and fell the rest of the day. And that's what we've seen on the very first chart of this video, BLNK. You've seen these long wicks leading to nowhere. And then this is IGC of this previous week. One second. It's always good to have these, like the 1 minute here. Well, this is the 3 minute. But zoom it out the previous 3 days and see how the price movement is moving on these charts. You can really see the price areas that it likes bouncing off of, or the price areas it's getting rejected at. IGC on the daily, you got this big green candle here, and then you got this doji right here, right in the middle. Now, there's a thing, once you learn candlesticks, then you could start looking into candlestick math. And candlestick math is simply adding the two candles together to form one candle. And when you form these two candles together, what you get is a hanging man. I'm just trying to give my voice a rest for a second. It's sore. I'm not used to talking this much. Alright, I'll come back to this one, but this is iPass. Again, the pattern thing doesn't always work. And let's see what I wrote here. Same ticker IPAS on the 15-minute intraday chart. You can see each candle made a new high, bouncing off of support. Imagine if this was a ball getting momentum with each high long wick, then it crashes the support floor, causing the price to drop. Why is this? Why it's important to look at multiple time frames and have a clear head to think about the possibilities and break down a stock. Now, if you get what I was trying to say here, imagine this as a bouncing ball. So you could see this is the 15-minute chart. So each candle is every 15 minutes. And you could see right here, every 15 minutes, this was making a higher wick. Now, if you imagine this is a ball, the ball bounces up and then comes down and hits this support. And this is the basketball court right here. Okay? Ball comes back up, dribbles a little higher, and then comes back down and bounces off the floor. What this is doing is it's getting more momentum, more power behind it. And you can also consider it as a freight train starting to get momentum. A big move is about to happen. Ball comes back up, bounces even higher, and then comes down with force. And then it's bouncing back and forth, slowly breaking down, and then it breaks the floor. And look at it, drops hard, going from 245 down to 225, I'd say. May not seem like a lot, but that's when you have 5,000, 10,000 shares, that's a lot of money to be lost. And you can prevent that just by analyzing and breaking down technical analysis. That's why it's important to approach the market every day with a clear head, a good night's rest, prepared and ready. And then this is KBSF, just a low flow pump. You'll see KBSF pop up on scanners all the time because traders manipulate the float. And then either if this had great news, you see it gaps up pre-market, it just goes to show you, even though if it did have great news, traders can simply leave it and let it go, and it sells off all day. Pre-market, it goes from $5 up to almost $9. Some traders might look at this and say it already made its move. It's the price is up too high. And as soon as this opens, crashes. NEWA. We've seen a few stocks this month in August had huge drops like this. CVSI, NEWA. Another one was, I believe Facebook had a huge drop because of its earnings. Huge panic drops like this. And like I said, if you see something and take notice of it, Look what happened. 3 other stocks pretty much did the same thing. NEWA, CVSI, Facebook, and I think there was one more too. I can't remember the name of it right now. But when stocks have big drops like this, I'll keep an eye on it for the next week, 2 weeks, to see what it does. Because traders and momentum could come back into this at any point. You know, a lot of people could be looking at this as an opportunity to get it at a discount. And then this is the daily on NEWA. And you can clearly see this has a history of dropping big. This is by far the biggest drop it's ever had. But you can see it here, 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 and little ones back here. And I'd say a lot of people just straight up manipulate this stock. People run it up, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, and then it's like everybody at once dumps it. And then they'll build it back up and up and up and up, and then everybody at the same time dumps it. Happens over and over and over again. Now watch for it to continue selling off, and watch. More than likely, this is going to start U-shaping back up because history repeats itself. I'd be careful though. I wouldn't typically place something like this. The SEC could halt it at any moment. If they had any brains, they'd realize and look at this chart. People are just manipulating this. But hey, if you want to ride the wave, ride the wave. And then this is NFEC. Pretty much the same exact thing as NEWA. You see that? This is NEWA. This is NFEC. Pretty much the exact same thing. Pump and dumps. NSYS. Now I've seen a lot of times NSYS and a lot of many other stocks start to get momentum right at the close and then just make crazy moves after hours. Stocks can make very crazy volatile moves after hours. Very crazy. PTGX, just a slow grinder all day. Going from 761 up to a high of 1140. That's a $4 gainer all day just from holding it. And that's what majority of these charts you're seeing in August. They're just slow grinders or continuations all day. August was a really tough month. It really was. And then we got PTIE here with this huge drop. You could see it here on the daily chart. The stock was at $10.80. And it took a big drop here with a nice bounce. And then it took an even bigger drop right here. And then just went sideways and then dropped more. And then all this simply did is it got momentum. And you can see that here on the daily chart. Traders seen how much it dropped, thinking they could get it at a discount, started to buy it, started to hit other people's scanners. They start to buy it. Accumulation buying comes in, and this is where you get moves like this. Coming back up over $1 and spiking to a high of 234. And then look at then the company I think came out with an offering. And this is why I don't like to swing stocks. This came out with an offering at $2. It drops down to $1. And this is why I like just riding the wave real quick, taking a piece of the pie and moving on. PTIE again in multiple time frames. This is why it's good to look at stocks in multiple time frames. You can see here on the 5-minute, this simply just made a wedge right here with the top resistance line. It started to grind up, making higher lows. It broke out, comes back down, tests his old resistance, is now support, and then off we go. Just PTIE and different angles of the intraday. RSLS, just a straight up pump and dump, going from 7 cents up to 46 cents and then selling off hard. And it did have a nice bounce right here from 15 cents to 30 cents. I thought this was a great chart because I was waiting and watching this when it spiked up and then it was just selling off, selling off, selling off. And I was waiting for a reversal on this. I'm watching the level 2 and the times and sales. I want the bid to start to be stable, holding a price. And what I liked about this was the 3-minute and even the 5-minute. You have this continuation selling right here, and then you got a doji right here to indicate a reversal's coming. And then you got a green candle and another green candle, and it starts to pull back and makes a higher low and starts trending up. RXII. Again, again with the long wicks. I don't like playing. If I see stocks has long wicks, I try not to touch it and play it. Because that's just too much risk, too much flexibility in the price. I don't want to get caught in on something at 236 to have it drop on me 36 cents in a couple minutes. I'll think of these long wicks as daddy long legs. They're creepy looking. I don't want nothing to do with them. And then this looks like to be a loss on TIS. This had a spike from 80 cents up to 240. Crazy, crazy spike right here. Comes down. It's still making higher low or lower lows. But I'm looking back right here and I'm thinking this is a resistance and it's holding as support. So as soon as I see this start coming down and making a base, I think that this is going to start U-shaping on back up to 240 and possibly break out like it did right here. But I was wrong. And it started to trend up and then it started to pull back hard. And big sellers started coming into this. And I got scared out, so I sold my position. I could have made profit on it if I held, but I don't like to hold and hope. If my plan isn't working out the way I thought it or seen it on the chart, then I get out. And as you can see, it spiked up to a high of 263. And what happened was, I just simply played this too early. It happens. You're not going to be perfect. We're human. See, this is what I was looking for right here. For it to spike up, come down, make a base, and then start U-shaping up and breaking out. Or selling at the resistance. That way, if it didn't break out, I was still walking away with profit. And the same thing right here. It's just, I played it too early, like I said. And then you can see the day following, it hit a high of 327. And then you can start to see long wicks right here, and a doji right here of uncertainty. And then you got a few long wicks right here. That's price rejection. That's starting to show weakness. Big selling is coming into this. People are going to be taking their profits. UXIN. Morning panic here from 640 all the way down to 570. And then this rebounds up from 570 to 640. Pulls back, starts to make higher lows, grinding its way up, going up to 660, 670. And like I said before, this is why I love looking at charts. There's so much possibilities and opportunities. If you just sit and look at these charts, you'll start to see great opportunities, I would say. You got a morning panic here, buying the morning panic, riding up the bounce, or waiting for this to start establishing higher lows, building its way up to the resistance line, and then when it breaks out, that's when you get in. You're not going to be right all the time, though, like I said. Patterns don't work 100% of the time. And here's another pattern that I like. You got a spike here, pulls back, formed a base, starts to U-shape up, breaks the previous high, then it breaks the pre-market high and makes a new high. Great opportunity and great range on this stock right here. You can see how important this VWAP really is. Right here, kind of this VWAP was acting as resistance. Then price comes up and it surges over this VWAP. Keeps pulling back and kissing this VWAP and moving up. And then even here, it comes down, kisses the VWAP again, goes back up. Drops below the VWAP, and then the VWAP is now acting as resistance, pulls back, acting as resistance, and then it surges over it. And that's it. That's all the interesting charts I took screenshots of in August. And then what I will do is I will set all of these on a slideshow to run as my background on my desktop. That way every day I can look at these and I physically see them. And it's just good practice. That's the way I look at it. But this is already over an hour and 20 minutes long. Thanks for joining me on this live stream. And like I said, I will try to do this every month. I will continue to take pictures of charts and put them in a folder. So next up we got September. I'm excited to see what September is going to bring for us. Keep studying. Keep going hard. This will get easier. The more you dedicate to this, the easier it's going to get. You'll start to see opportunities slowly but surely. And you really got to have a passion for this. I absolutely love learning about the market and being there in the market every day, even if I'm not trading, and just analyzing charts and looking at what's going on and how the market moves with world news and world events. It really is fascinating. But make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. I'm uploading videos every other day, all the time for you guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of the weekend. Enjoy Labor Day on Monday. Remember, markets closed on Monday. It'll be back open Tuesday. So we got kind of a short week. And bring on September. I'm ready for get September out of here and bring on September. Alright guys, later.